Hola, I am coming to you live today. It's almost 2:30 and I am bringing on Joyce Ayers with me. If you could just give me a moment. We are waiting for her to join. Something that we want to talk to you about is vulnerability and how important your ability to be vulnerable is to your mental health. Now, that may seem contradictory, but the thing is, if you are not allowing yourself to be vulnerable and do the work, meaning finding someone to be vulnerable with, someone you feel safe to be vulnerable with, and doing the work, you're not going to create any forward motion because you're going to be just, hey, Joyce, there she is. You're going to just,
I'm gonna get my earbuds. Just I think we had this thing happen before. So let me get my earbuds.
okay, um, getting back to what I was saying. So, if you're working with someone, whether it's a coach or a therapist or a psychologist or whomever, and you are not feeling safe, you will not allow yourself to be vulnerable and you will not create that forward motion. So that vulnerability is in essence your ticket to moving forward. And the reason I'm bringing this up is because I was recently struggling with something and in conversation with Joyce, who is also a coach, she immediately jumped into coaching mode, started asking me some questions and leading me through a process. Now, here's the thing, you can sit and you can talk about what your problems are or what's bothering you, whether it's from 40 years ago, 10 years ago, or something that's currently happening in your life, right? And you are constantly bringing up all of those negative feelings and you're keeping the loop going, the negativity loop, which is the fear, the doubt, the worry, the lack, and the limitation. And that's not really where you want to be. You want to create that forward motion. And both Joyce and I have some of our techniques are very much the same, but some of our techniques are very different. And so in this conversation we was having, she literally just took me through a process. And by the end of the process, I immediately shifted. And it was probably the course of what, 15 or 20 minutes, Joyce?
Yeah, yeah. At the most, it was yeah, we were talking away, and I'm like, hey, wait a second. There's this thing that I could do because you said, yeah, I've been like working on this and doing all the things that you know to do, and that I do my things that I know to do. But it's just sometimes we just need, or not, when you get to that point, even as coaches, we just need someone to bring us through, and it could be the same thing that we're doing, that each of us are doing, or it could be a very different technique. So
Yeah.
this time, it was an NLP technique, neuro linguistic programming. It's shifting the submodalities. So what that is it's like how you see things and how you hear them and how you feel about them, and you take the way they exist, the way they've been programmed inside of us, and how we those filters that we it's called delete, distort, and generalize, and what we make it mean and how it keeps us stuck. So I took these beliefs that you had, the way you see them, hear them, and feel them, and then we shifted the images, the sounds, and the feelings, and it was almost like it collapses it.
It
And then we
does.
took, yeah, and so there was this belief that that you had that was really keeping you
Yeah.
stuck, and it kept showing up, and especially when you didn't want it to, you would get
Yeah.
triggered, and like in because I've been there, you get triggered, and it's like, why won't this go away? And so then it's like, well, let's take something that you know for certain, and like you have control over, and that you can just turn it on, right? And if you're an amazing yoga instructor and leading people through these beautiful yoga experiences through their body and breath work, and that is so embedded in you. You embody that really well, and you can just turn that on in a second.
Yeah.
So we like almost like powered you up, like we turned the lights full on, as bright as they could, and then we took that, and then the old belief that was limiting you, and we just like we imposed the truth, like the power, the thing that
Mhm.
was for certain, onto the thing that you didn't feel you were empowered with, or that you would get triggered by. And then we had you think about that thing that you would get triggered by. And I remember it was so funny because like you actually started laughing rather than like, I don't know why I do this. And
Exactly.
and it's just like that, and you're like you started laughing, I'm like, "What are you laughing about?" It's like, "I can't believe I was, like, spent all these months, getting triggered like this," and then even just thinking about it, you would get triggered, and you're like, "I'm just laughing because it's just so ridiculous now. Because yeah, I can take care of myself, and because I do it all the time anyways." And so we just took something that was for certain, like in NLP, we say like the sun's gonna come up every day, or, you're gonna brush your teeth most mornings, right? You take something that's for certain, and I'm really minimalizing this. You take something that you're empowered by and that you have control over, how you're gonna fail in the outcome, and you take that certainty and you put it in front of the thing that's uncertain, that's kind of taking over, or that keeps taking over your life,
Right.
and it's
Yep.
just like it just falls away.
And what's important about this, y'all, is that NLP gets a bad rap for people using it to manipulate others. But it's actually a very powerful tool to literally 15, 20 minutes shift what's going on within you. And so when you hear NLP, don't cringe. Another point I want to get make and go back to what I was talking about in the beginning is I allowed myself to be vulnerable. I didn't dig my heels in and put up my barriers, which is literally what my trigger was that we were dealing with was me automatically building my walls to keep myself safe when I feel scared. Because if you think that any psychologist, therapist, coach, any human being has mastered all of their triggers, all of their emotions, you are wrong. We all struggle with triggers, all of us. And as much work as I've done on myself and as many modalities and techniques that I've learned, as much as I've learned about the mind, the body, and the brain, which is really, really important in order to create change in your life, I still get triggered. And I know ways to help myself, but these things were not helping me. Instead, I could just feel that wall getting stronger and stronger and bigger, and it was starting to just sort of close up right at the top where I get and I don't let anything or anyone in, and I did not want to do that. So in 15 to 20 minutes, Joyce helped me shift that completely. And I haven't gone back to building my walls. In fact, shortly after we hung up, I have to tell you this. Shortly after we hung up, I got on a call and I was just, can you still hear me?
I can.
Okay, sorry. I, the notifications, usually when they come on, it just stops my feed.
Yeah, I got the little heart pop up.
Oh, I didn't see the heart. I don't have my glasses on so that you all don't have to look at the glare. So I can't really see very much. In any case, I was able to get on that call, be 100% present with and for that other person, and enjoy the conversation. And it was just perfect timing because prior to that, when Joyce and I first got on our call together, I was just like, "Ah, I'm so triggered right now." And like that, it was gone. And so I have a couple of things I want to say. The first thing is that if you're working with somebody right now, whether it's a psychologist, a therapist, or a coach, and it isn't working, find another person. And I would strongly recommend working with Joyce. If you are ready to be raw, open, and vulnerable and make really big changes, and who you're working with is not working for you, then either one of us are good. But I can tell you that that 15 to 20-minute process that we did was so powerful. And I said to her, people should be lining up at your door.
Yes, please come.
And if you're a coach, just want to say this, if you are a coach, reach out to Joyce. She is phenomenal. She is phenomenal. And we have both been really good, excuse me, at being a source of support for one another and guiding each other through change and through triggers and stressors and things like that. This was really, really powerful. So thank you, Joyce.
Yeah, you are so welcome, and thank you for the many times that I've, called you or we were just talking and all of a sudden something opens and we're just in that place like that we're ready to be real and vulnerable and raw with ourselves. It's like, yes, the other person you're being, but it's more like we open up to ourselves and
Agree.
acknowledge it's just like, yeah, this is a tough place for me rather than I'm gonna like muster through this.
Right.
It's like, no, like this isn't working and my coping skills are exhausting
Yeah.
and it's not getting me like and all those things. So it doesn't matter if you're a client or you're a coach, and even more so if you're a coach. And I say this from what my own training is and where I'm coming from. It's like if we're not doing the work ourselves as coaches, leaders that other people look to us, if we're not going into our stuff, combination of those two words, stuff, if we're not going deep into our stuff and working on it and releasing it, then like we need to be in that place so that we can help our clients. Otherwise, we're going to hear their stories and we're going to get triggered. And then we're not going to be as effective as we need to be because then
Yeah.
now we're thinking and trying to help someone else or guide them from a place that we're protecting ourselves or we're imposing our beliefs on them now. So and
So
it's
we're not
ongoing.
to be, yeah, we're
Yeah,
not
it's
meant to be
ongoing.
consistent
So
with them.
yeah. So like, if you're a newbie coach, we've been there. Now, if you're a newbie coach, even a seasoned coach, your stuff comes up because like one day you'll talk to someone and they'll just say something that gets under your skin a little bit. And you didn't even know it was there. You didn't even know you had your coping patterns um there. And it's like this is an opportunity to be real with yourself and just, yeah, like, yeah, this is an opportunity for me to either bury it, pretend it's
Right.
not there, or to actually get rid of it and be more empowered and lighter, right? And freer. Because all that stuff just holds us back and it's like it holds us hostage. And then we go around sabotaging ourselves or limiting ourselves. So again, it's like we all need to be doing the work so that we have better relationships with ourselves. So we take care of ourselves. We have better relationships with our families and children and our significant others. Um, so it's not just this one path. It impacts all areas of our life.
All of
And
our relationships, personal,
yeah,
professional. Yes, absolutely. Across the board.
so yeah, like if you're like, what is this thing that she did? And it's like, just think of it as a game, not like, ooh, she's gonna get in my head. It's like and you don't even need to give me a lot of details, right? That's the thing. It's like I got to expose my whole wound and everything. It's like and all the emotions. I have to tell my whole story again. It's like, no, that's the beauty of this work. Is you just give me a few tidbits, we talk about it, we do this process, 10, 15 minutes, and you don't have to go into it, into that story. And now you have a new story that you've written and what's possible for you.
Agreed. I totally agree. And I was just about to say that. One of the best things about it was I didn't have to dig deep. I didn't have to dig deep. We get to um uh e- so express whatever is going on, and once the process begins, that's done. That's gone. You've expressed it, and now you're taking all of the components, you're turning it into, like you said, a game, and creating that shift without keeping the client in the loop. And in fact, I truly believe that the shifting of of the problem to the visualization and creating that picture that we were talking about, using the colors and the shapes and the sounds and all of that, that was beautiful. I mean, it was an immediate shift of attention. And then by the end, it was, oh, yeah, I'm okay. And the thing is that the triggers, y'all, come up because you don't feel safe. And your brain is wired to notice the things that don't make you feel safe. So the triggers aren't your fault. I want you to make a note of that. They're
It's
not
just the way you've learned how to cope with something or
right,
how to manage it or move on, like, to keep going because we just had to keep going. And so
right.
we couldn't do that feeling the way we did it with imagining or believing what we did. So we need to create some false reality and make something mean or apply a meaning to what it was that occurred. And this isn't something that happened like, in our 30s or 40s. This has been building since we were little kids, right?
Right.
It's been building and building and
Right.
building.
Right. And as I was saying, when you get triggered, don't beat up on yourself because again, that your brain is wired to keep you safe. So if it senses something in some way or sees something as a red flag that isn't safe for you, those triggers are going to come up like that. So don't beat yourself up. In any case, if you are interested in learning more about working with me or with Joyce, reach out to me and we'll make that happen. We're running out of time. Thanks for joining us. I wish you all a beautiful day. Thanks again,
Thank
Joyce.
you. Thanks for being with us and catching the replay. Thank
Bye.
you.